beautiful people, welcome back to another video and welcome to the first official video on my booktube channel. I can't actually believe that we're doing this and we're here. This is something I've debated and tossed back and forth a lot. Hi, I'm Vanessa TBR. If you don't already know me, maybe you've seen me around YouTube. I've been a YouTuber for over 8 years, so maybe you've seen one of my videos in the past. I have been a reader my entire life. My vlogs on my main channel, they have included reading and talking about the books that I'm reading since I want to say 2021, but definitely since graduating university last year, I have become more and more a reader and feel like this summer I've really sunk into it and made kind of the big and exciting decision to make this booktube channel as well as a book talk. If you're not already following me on Book Talk, what are you doing? Go check that out. I definitely am going to be way more active on there, but I'm excited to dive right into this little August TBR and book haul. We're gonna start with the book haul. A lot of the books that are in the book haul are also on my August TBR, so I feel like that this just was a good meshy little intro booktube video. But I'm so excited you're here and I'm so excited to literally be able to ramble about books. I feel like some of you guys that watch my main channel videos love when I talk about books, but I feel like not everybody loves that, and it's definitely a specific niche, but I feel like a lot of people are slowly beginning to read more and more, but I'm excited to be in this space. I also feel like I've personally watched booktube and book content for years and this just feels so right. But let's get into it. I'm so excited. Okay, this is the exact section that I was looking for. They're all like really cute little summer romancy reads. This is already calling to me just because obviously I'm going to my cottage on a lake and I feel like this is just on theme and on brand. I might have to pick this up. I'm gonna read the back first because I haven't seen this book before, but definitely have heard of the author. So we'll give it a little read and see. I've also heard really good things about both of these. This apparently is very spicy though. This, on the other hand, I was not expecting it to be so thick, but definitely has a very interesting premise, so I might grab this too, but for a summer read, I might wait and hold off. I have literally this giant stack of books. If you know me, you know I typically only read 2 to 3 books in a month, but I'm heading to the cottage, and if you want to see my cottage TBR, stay tuned because that is coming soon. You guys blindly picked my cottage reads TBR on my Instagram, and some of these books are going to be in there. I am so excited, so let's just get started. Starting off with the book haul, first up I picked up Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, and Amazon did me so dirty. Can we see how tiny this little book is? For reference, this is a normal sized paperback. Why? Why is it so small? Anyways, when I read in the snippet that not only Toronto but Muskoka was in this, I was like, not only is this the perfect cottage read and end of summer vibes book, but I am a girly living in Toronto as well as heading up to my cottage, which is just past the Muskoka region, and I was like, this is just too on point to not A, pick up in my book haul, and B, add to my August TBR. Next up in the book haul, I got Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I have never read any of Abby Jimenez's books, and I've slowly been dipping my toes into more romance books. I am a full fantasy girly, so whenever I add a romance book to my TBR or whenever I'm buying romance books, it has to be really recommended to me, and I've seen this all over Book Talk. So I was like, you know what? It's summer vibes. It's not only good for like an end of summer read and like August cozy kind of cute romance, but I saw Reddit in the snippet and was like, I am such a Reddit thread lover that there's no way I can't at least somewhat like this book. In essence, it's about two people who think they're both cursed when it comes to dating, and they basically fake date, and I love a good fake dating trope, but then end up falling in love. At least I think that's what it's about. I love to go into books blindly, so if my descriptions of these books are very vague, That's why. I might get a little bit of heat for this one, but I picked up Lightlark. I have been on Book Talk since before this book got published, and I have seen so many things going around about this book, especially because the third book in the trilogy is coming out, and I just never picked it up. Heard both good, both bad, all of the above, but I am a sucker for anything magical trials. I just love a good fantasy enemies to lovers, which I heard this has a little bit of it in it, but that it's very YA. But I also think that I just relate to Alex Astor, the author, in general, because I believe we're the same age. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she's also an 01 and is 23, and her publishing story is definitely very interesting. So I'm excited to give this a go. I also thought it's not the biggest book, and this book is on my August TBR, that I would read it and give it a go. Next, I picked up A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and this is the first mystery novel I've ever purchased. Not only the first mystery novel, but also the first murder-esque, somewhat thriller novel. I feel like it very much is very YA, and I'm like slowly dipping my toes into that realm, but I'm not gonna lie, this kind of intimidates me, but I've heard so many good things, which is the main reason why I picked it up. And I was like, you know what, I need to broaden my book horizons a little bit, especially now doing booktube and book talk, that I can't solely read fantasy. I gotta dip my toes into some other genres, so I figured that this would be a good start. So I picked this up in my book haul, but it's not in my August TBR. The last two books that I picked up in my book haul are Powerless and Reckless. Again, I'm a huge sucker for anything that's like fantasy magical trials, and lots of people have been calling at least Powerless the love child of the Hunger Games and Red Queen, if that child looked nothing like the parents. I loved the Hunger Games. I'm not gonna lie, I did DNF Red Queen, even though I own the entire series. I might have to go back and read that series at some point, but I've also heard some controversial things about this book. Some people love it, some people hate it. Some people have said it's not the greatest writing, but other people have literally are dying over the male main character Kai, which, let's just hold on that note for a moment. Kai. I love that name. I've rarely heard an MC with that name, and I am adoring it. I think it's so lovely. And Peyton is also, I feel like, kind of an original name. Like, it's almost like Peyton, but not really. But anyways, in essence, it's enemies to lovers, kind of. She is this ordinary mortal girl, and he is this prince with powers, and in essence, she saves him. And it's kind of like a fate-bound book, which I also love that. I love enemies to lovers, and I love when characters are like bound by fate. So I had to pick this up, and of course not only could I not pick up the first book, I had to pick up the second book too, because what if I absolutely love the first book and want to go straight into reading the second book? So I did pick up the second book, Reckless. I do know that there is a little novella out, which is powerful. I didn't pick that up yet, but I have a feeling that I'll probably head back to the bookstore and get it at some point soon. Powerless is on my August TBR. Reckless I'm going to hold off for now because I want to actually try and read all of the books on my August TBR before that. I think I'll probably read this towards the end of August and then add Reckless to my September TBR, but stay tuned because I'm not 100% sure yet. While we went over, I think three of the books that are on my TBR, I still have another 4 books that I've had on my physical TBR for a while that I'm finally going to read. The first one is Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo, and I'm rolling my eyes a little bit because I have held off on reading this book for a while. I finished Siege and Storm in, I want to say, February, and honestly was in a little bit of a reading slump. I don't love Alina as a main character. I really find her to be an insufferable MC, and so I've been really hesitant to pick up the last book in the trilogy. So many people adore this series, and I can understand why. It is a very well written YA trilogy, and I love the show. Don't get me wrong, it probably was also my fault for watching the show before reading the books, but I definitely do love the unique premise to this fantasy series. And a few people have told me that even if you hate Alina, the third book gets better because it becomes less about her. So I am excited to read this month. I also am finally picking up an Olivia Blake book, and I'm starting with the Atlas 6. As an academic myself, I have heard that Olivia Blake's writing is just so beautiful and eloquent, and I'm kind of sticking with the theme of magical trials, which this is kind of like a light magical academia. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it's dark academia, but in essence it is these 6 kids that are chosen to go to this secret society. It's multi-pov, and basically they're told that only 5 of them will make it to the end of the year, so one of them's gotta die. I think that premise alone, I'm like, ooh, okay, you're gonna put these 6 kids together that are gonna become friends, they're gonna live together, they're gonna all love each other, and then one of them has to die. Like, okay, I'm here for it. I'm intrigued. I want to know more. This is finally going on my TBR for this month. I'm excited to dive into it. I feel like it's not the biggest book, but she's a little big. It's definitely bigger than a normal size paperback, which I was also like, that's a little odd. So not only do I have a bigger than average paperback, but I also have a smaller than average paperback on my TBR. Which leads me to the last book of my August TBR is Caraval. I have never read any of Stephanie Garber's works, but tell me why I own the entire Caraval trilogy as well as the entire Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Make it make sense. I feel like I just liked the concept and liked the covers, and I'm someone that if I'm asking for books as presents or if I'm going out and buying books, I like buying boxed sets, and that's what I did with Caraval. So I'm finally starting the first book. Basically, it's another magical trials. Clearly I have a theme for the month of August and I am loving it. But it revolves around these 2 sisters. One is taking place in the Caraval and one is basically the prize of the Caraval that everybody has to go and find her, and she is like what the whole carnival this year is about, which is really, really interesting to me because I feel like we're not going to get to know that other sister that much in this book. I think that the premise of this book is really unique, so I'm really excited to read it. It's not fae. I definitely read a lot of fae and fairy fantasy, or a lot of just like epic fantasies as well. So I'm excited to dive into some fantasies that are a little bit different and have some unique premises, which I feel like a lot of the books that I chose this month, although they have a similar theme of like magical, fantastical fantasy trials, they're all really unique and different in the sense that they have different premises among the magical trials. But that is my little book haul as well as August TBR. I am always looking for more books to add to my TBR and to possibly add to my physical TBR as well. So let me know your best read from July down in the comments below. But I'm so excited to finally be on Book Talk and to connect with my fellow book lovers as well as specifically fantasy girlies. You guys know, if you've been around my main channel for a while, that I am a diehard ACOTAR gal. I've read that series at least 3 times through. So I'm excited to expand my horizons a little bit, read some more fantasy, just read in general more, and finally be able to literally just blab about books and know that I'm talking to people who just get it. But thank you guys so much for watching and welcome here to my booktube channel. Expect so much more content and so many new and exciting and fun videos coming very soon. But I love you guys so much and I will see you in the next video. Bye!